This is again your host Edmy with Darwin Caffrey doing gang signs again. But hey, thank you again for tuning in. So this is basically just a little bit of a continuation for what we talked about last week. Just to give a quick recap, we talked about ourselves, some chit chatter about how we got on the business, things that we've seen a little bit, and I know you're going through the process of buying a home and selling your home.
Yes.
So you're going to that fun ordeal, right?
It is funny. I had the same feelings as everyone else. Yeah. Even though I know what to expect, I know what's happening, I know what's going on next, but I still have the
You have the jitters,
the excitement. My wife driving me crazy. You know those feelings.
The fun stuff.
Yeah.
The fun stuff. But we're gonna dive a little bit deeper today. Just to kind of like kickstart everything. So I know you kind of like last week you talked about how you got laid off, and then you, I'd say by chance, met this, I don't know if I should say awesome guy that got you into the business. So
well, let's clarify. John is an awesome guy.
He is.
Yeah. But right, you're right. But the roller coaster ride of this business, like you're saying, is like, did I rich? Yeah, right. No. It's been great for my family and I.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think a lot of people get into real estate. A lot of realtors are saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do for the flexible schedule." No, you're not. No, you're not. No.
Does that even exist?
No,
Flexible schedule?
No, because I promise you, during that kid's birthday or your grandmother's 90th or the anniversary, whatever's going on, somebody's calling you.
So better yet, it's flexible, but you're always going to be working.
Going to be working, right? Because people, I think one thing people forget is just because your life is on pause for vacation, or I say pause, or you're doing something, that doesn't mean other people's lives are there, right?
Yeah.
They don't care that your family's doing stuff. They're, because I'm going through right now. I get it. Your stomach's turning. You want to know the answer, whatever's going on, or what's the next step, or I lose my house, or hopefully don't lose my house, whatever. Yeah.
But the wheels keep grinding. There's still steps that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of things that no matter what's happening in any individual's life that are involved in a particular transaction, there are things that still need to be done.
I think that was the hardest lesson in this industry. I think any salesperson will tell you that's the hardest thing to learn and to really try to figure out and try to balance, because in sales you're always working, and it's you kind of forget and kind of realize that everything else is just because you're on pause. Everyone else is still going forward. So it's really hard lesson to. Yeah. Especially if you're married, you got to say to your wife, like, oh, I got to step away for 5 minutes, my kid's birthday. She kind of gives you that look. But the look is like, it sucks, but I get it look. Right? So I hope at that point you've had that conversation with your wife or your spouse, whoever you're with. Hey, sometimes this is going to happen. It's not that I don't care. It's that work, sometimes it's work, right?
Yeah.
You get paid what you get paid. You do what you do. You don't eat unless you sell, right?
Yep.
So you hope you had that conversation with your spouse. So when they give you that look, it's not the angry at you, it's, man, I'm sorry you're missing this, or I'm sorry, it's that look, right?
Yep.
And a supportive look too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Basically we do this, of course, with the support of our spouse.
Look, I couldn't do this without my wife. I would be the first one to say my wife is the anchor, well, like most families, my wife is the anchor of my ship, and without her support and saying, hey, let me take the kids, because I do have little ones, I have Irish twins, 6 and 7, and they are as crazy as 6 and 7-year-old boys can be. So without my wife, I wouldn't be able to do this. So and she's shout out to my wife. She's having a great career. Her career's taking off too. So now we definitely have to be a team. And kind of like, hey, I got a meeting. You got this? Yeah. Or hey, I got to go away tomorrow. You got this? Yeah. So
exactly.
You have to be 100% together on a page. Which fortunately, my wife and I are 100% on the same page. Again, the marriage is not perfect, but I knock on wood that on this front.
Hey, so far you guys are making it work.
So far,
that's the important thing.
Yeah.
So, you got into business. It's been a while since you've been doing this. What kept you going?
It's gonna sound corny. I'm gonna say corny. I love working with you. All my profiles I work with, they're not they're colleagues, but they're friends.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I said, I've had you at my house. I've had you at my parents' summer house.
yeah.
I've had almost everyone at my house swimming in the pool and having a great time, and then on the side we do business. But I think that that's more important because at the end of the day, and I think you agree with me, I can trust you 1,000%. You can trust me 1,000%. Because this isn't a perfect world. Things go wrong. Things go sideways, right? I need to call you, Joe, this is what happened. This is what I'm doing to fix it. Or, Joe, because I'm not perfect, so I'm making a mistake. Or vice versa. I'm like, all right, cool. That's no problem, dude. This is how we do it. Or, one thing great working for John when I was under his mentorship was I saw so many deals that now I'm like, this is like,
what else?
This is the walk in the park. I can clear this. But for yourself, why do you keep doing it?
It's kind of like the love of, in essence, winning, because you put a transaction together, you get it to close, you get a family's dream to come true. To me, that's winning.
Oh, that feeling never goes away.
No,
never.
It's like, I think the other day I was looking at, I think I'm at over 100 transactions so far in my career. And I feel just as excited as I was. I mean, a little different, but really excited when I get an offer accepted and seeing that family's eyes like, we got it?
Yeah.
Like,
what's next?
Okay, what's next?
Well, to share a quick story, I was during COVID, we didn't meet a lot of people face to face. Phone calls, maybe some Zooms. And there's one family I didn't meet in person because it was COVID, whatever. My son and I were in Lowe's shopping, and I guess I have a distinct voice. I didn't know that. So we're shopping, and all of a sudden this family goes, "Excuse me, are you Darwin?" I said, "Is this a good answer?" I was like, no, I am Darwin. He goes, and they give me a big hug and goes, we're, I'm not going to, just for purposes, we helped to buy our first house. Oh my God, they were so, and you think they closed on the house yesterday, but they closed it 3 months after. Yeah. But they were so appreciative and so excited. And it was really cool for my son to kind of get into what I do, and they were so excited. It was a really cool feeling. I tell the story now, but that feeling never goes away. I'm telling you 100%. And if it does go away, it's time to get a new job.
True. Yeah. Now, it's funny because I have a similar story during COVID as well. Because, video was always a thing, but during COVID, video became a thing in our industry. Yeah. And, I started experimenting with like some videos, kind of like just sharing information I knew at that time, what I saw, how to adapt to certain things. And then I went to an ATM, and I just heard, hey, usually when you're at the ATM, you're a little bit like, I just want to get my business done. Code number. And I'm like, I hear this voice like, hey, are you Edmy?
I usually have to call my wife. You know what I'm saying?
And then I'm like, because the thing is like, people who call me Edmy are people, Edmy, Joe, like those are nicknames that people
most people don't have 17 nicknames.
I know, right?
Most people have one.
You gotta keep them guessing. And it's like, so if it's someone calling me by that name, it's like, you know me. You watch me on something, or you know me. Yeah. And so I turn around, I'm like, he's like, oh, nice, I've seen your video. I've gotten great information from what you were saying. Thank you. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. And I thought I was just having fun with some videos. Yeah. When, just testing. Yeah. Because I think COVID was a time where it was just experimenting, like pivoting, seeing what works.
What nobody knew what to do. Mm-hmm. So everyone was trying to figure out, because you weren't seeing face to face anymore. So how do you get your personality out there? How do you get your it factor as a salesperson out there? Yeah. So videos, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, right? So it's cool that somebody recognized and recognized you. That's cool.
Yeah. So to kind of like speed up gears, like you're still in the business, so you survived COVID.
I survived COVID. Yes.
So what would you say is different during COVID now, like in terms of how you operate?
What I think, obviously now the big thing in COVID was you couldn't meet face to face. Now it's, I think what brought back to, I'm kind of back to normal a little bit. You meet people face to face. You're meeting, You meet realtors face to face. You meet a little more personal, I think, which is great. The market has changed. Obviously, interest rates have gone back up. Prices of homes are up. But it's a wave, right? And I think
It is.
I talk a lot of the old timers, the mortgage guys who've been doing it a long time, or mortgage women, whatever. And they tell me some stories, and they're like, they tell me about this wave and that wave. So I think the biggest thing is just keep doing you and keep doing what make you got here and get you through it, and ride the wave. Ride the wave, because everybody has experienced the same interest. What about yourself?
I mean, the biggest thing, like you said, meeting face to face. I think there's like some strength in being able to sit like we're sitting right now with someone to walk them through the process, because there's really a lot to understand about what's going on. And during COVID, I did a lot of buyer consult through Zoom, and it was pretty flexible because I got to meet some folks in their comfort, as they got out of work, those that were still going into work. I mean, others that were actually working remotely. So there was a lot of flexibility there, and you got just a little bit more personal, because it's almost as if you had someone in your house.
The personal thing works, but I actually find that technology shot up a little bit, right? Because COVID, you had to now send things electronically and securely, and so I find that one of the good things of COVID is technology kind of shot up a little bit, where now a lot of things in my world where I have to authenticate things or validate things, I can do electronically or through third parties, or which is very cool. Sometimes.
You do a little bit more work.
When it works, or I see large deposits, I'm like, oh yeah, it works.
So to date, what would you say is the most interesting transaction that you've had?
Oh my gosh, I think right now, I think everyone's aware of it, is immigration issues, right? It's not cookie cutter, or maybe it never was a cookie cutter, but it's really a gray area, right? A lot of up in the air, and you have to learn quickly to navigate that. And I think that's right now a lot of my deals where I do a lot of FHA. Right now in FHA, you probably know that you can't close unless you're either a U.S. citizen or a resident alien. So navigating that, where they're expired or they're extending it or whatever's going on. So that is a challenge right now. But I mean, again, you catch that a lot in the pre-approval process. Hopefully, there's no perfect system, but that's probably my biggest obstacles right now.
Okay. And well, I mean, I think on the other side, the other aspect of it is inventory, because that's probably what I would say is my challenge. With rates being where they are, inventory being.
What I see a lot online is that sellers think it's 2007 and buyers think it's 2000. Whatever. Do you see that, where sellers think the house is worth $1 million and buyers think the house is worth $200,000?
Well, I mean, there's always that feeling or that emotional attachment to the property with a seller and a buyer looking for the best deal that they can find. So
interest rates being high, that monthly payment
exactly it makes a huge dent in terms of what you think you can afford and what you can actually afford.
Of course.
Well,
my wife and I, as you mentioned, we're selling and buying, and my wife and I had to do a self-reality self-check. And goes, we think our house is worth, I'm making things up, $1 million. And we walk through the house, and goes, maybe. Which you kind of call and goes, maybe not. Where it. But you raised your children in it. You raised your family in it, and you think it's, and I tell my wife, I hope we find a family that can see themselves just like we did. When we first saw the house and raised their kids, and and maybe their forever house or their next house, whatever. But in your world, it's I mean, I don't know how you navigate that sometimes.
The fun stuff. I mean, well. There's always that wave up and down. I think basically the biggest thing is that now a lot of buyers are a lot more patient than they were. Like if we were comparing like during COVID to now, A lot of buyers are definitely a lot more patient.
Are you seeing overbidding in houses? You know, let's say a house is 600,000. You see something getting. Remember back in the day, it was like 600,000. Unless you show up 650, stay home. Are you seeing that?
If the property is priced right, yes.
Okay.
So there's still a few of that going on.
Yeah.
Just not as crazy. I mean, okay, in that sense, my biggest challenge during COVID was advising a client on where we believe or where we see the market going.
Yeah.
Because you had a lot of what I would call interesting offers. Like a property is listed for 600,000, you're getting an offer for 700,000.
That's nuts.
And when you're looking at comps, you don't see it.
I need to do that one. I gotta ask you a question.
Yeah.
It's funny. My wife and I talked about it the other day in our house when we're showing it. You know, we were having open houses or having private showing. We made sure our house was immaculate. We had a cleaner come in. We had a stager, immaculate. Is it really real that some people just don't do that?
I plead the fifth.
Oh my! No, I can't imagine. I can't imagine not showing my house and not being top notch.
Yeah, I mean, basically, every agent and every seller will do their best for the house to show in the best light possible. But, you know, at the end of the day, the house is the house.
Yeah.
So there's only so much that you can do, and there's only so much that you can put in a short amount of time to be able to reap a certain benefit from it.
Okay.
And I think that's where, you know, the puck meet the ice. I think is probably the.
I'm not a hockey guy, so maybe. The rubber meets the road, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we could use that too.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically it's finding the right balance between what the property is, how the property is, and how we can present that. I mean, I look at a property being sold as a product in sales. So basically, how we can present that product to potential buyers.
It's important to have an experienced realtor, right? To do
that.
And I find it funny because people always ask me questions like, I have no idea. I'm the guy to give you the money. I have no idea about that.
You want the money? Call him.
Yeah, I have no idea how. Call Joe for that. No clue. You know?
No, I mean, it's really cooperation. It's a teamwork. You know, we devise a plan. I think every house is different on how you're going to present it. And it's for every house, you're going to develop a different strategy on how you're going to launch it, how you're going to present it to the market, and be able to market it effectively.
Agree with you. Yeah, definitely. 100%. Yeah.
No.
It's fun though, right? You enjoy it?
I love it. Hey,
it.
listen. It's fun. It's great, but there are those like scrape and bruises as well. You know, I've had plenty of instances where I got home. I'm like, listen, I just need to end this day, start tomorrow, because some days are just brutal.
Some days are just. Well, I think sometimes what's frustrating is when you advise or you teach or whatever to do it this way, and then they don't do it that way. You're like, what just happened? Like this all could have avoided if we didn't do that thing. Like,
no, but I mean, even sometimes it's not something that you can avoid. Like there are some blindsiders,
of course,
blind spots. Because I'm trying to remember exactly when. It's either probably during COVID or shortly after COVID. There's a day I lost 5 transactions all at once.
As a sales guy, that's bad. That's a I would have just crawled in a ball and just called.
Oh yeah, it's like I remember like the week before I was happy because I had 5 transactions, 5 offers accepted. I knew 2 were closing in a month, 3 were closing the following month. I'm like, this is looking good.
Good.
I was like, payday was gonna look good.
Payday is nice.
And then suddenly the next week, poof, nothing.
It's nice. You talk about pay. People realize you don't get paid and I don't get paid until the closing table.
Yep.
The closing table, right?
Well, interesting enough, I don't get paid at the closing table.
I don't either. I get paid probably 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Right?
So the one of the biggest thing is like as a salesperson. the transaction closes, my brokerage gets paid, then I get paid.
Yeah, but people, I think I bring it up because a lot of people goes, "Oh, you're getting paid." Well, I'm technically doing all this for free until you close. So my incentive and your incentives, we want you to close. There's no reason why I don't want you to close.
Yes.
Unless something comes up in family or whatever. I've had 2 instances where I'm like, yeah, let's not close because that's couldn't put you in a bad spot.
Yeah, no, and I think you and I probably had clients where we looked at them. It's like, I always make the difference. It's like you can buy it, but you can't really afford it. I mean, it's really up to the client, but we've had people where we had to sit down and like, the numbers are not looking too good based on what you're saying.
Well, it's still saying just because you get approved for $1 million doesn't mean you should go buy a $1 million house.
There you go.
You still have to feed your family. You still got extra activities, camp, soccer, especially in the summertime. Like that mortgage still has to be paid no matter what. So maybe not $1 million, maybe $700,000.
Yeah.
And that's always a tough conversation with happy people. Very tough conversation and then that goes back to you and I work as a team. Like I may say to you, goes, yeah, listen, I've looked at these people's finances. Here's a $700,000, right? Go. And I'm doing that because I don't want to put them, because at the end of the day, I'm not here to, I want to put people in a good position, a good experience. And that's where, you go look at houses, $700,000, not $1 million houses. Because once you look at $1 million house, you're not looking at $700,000.
No.
That's a huge difference. But again, people are adults. You do what you want at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm going to advise you to buy the $700,000 house, but if you want to go buy the $1 million house, go for it.
Yeah.
That's always a tough conversation to have, but it's an honest conversation, and I think people respect me or respect you when we have that conversation. Saying, listen, you can buy $1 million, go for it. I think you should buy a $7,000 house for X, Y reason. Everyone has their own reason. But at the end of the day, we're here. I tell people we're here tools for you to buy your house. We're not the decision makers. You are.
Yeah. And just to peel the curtain a little bit, one of the great things that I think that we do when we work with clients, especially that first meeting, we've been able to bring you in during the buyer consult.
Yeah.
That's like where when we're talking about what finances are going to look like, you're right there beside me and, being able to chime in and say, okay, here's X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And here's what we need to look at. And where I love to say, I look at the fun part, which is the house search. And
I think that's the fun part. Give the money.
Hey, listen, a lot of money is always good.
Yeah. But I think at that point, they know who's the players. And then, right? The realtor, the loan officer, the attorney. Everyone knows what their role is. And I think it's important, and I think you and I do great, is we stay in our lanes, right? Yeah. I don't know what houses are valued, or I don't know if you paint the deck purple, what that's going to do. I have no idea. I will call you, and the buyer's like, "Oh, I'm going to call Edmy to do that." Or, what's a $50,000 difference house? What's my payment look like? I'm going to call Darwin for that.
Yes.
So I think that's important to really clear out lanes where one's cut there. Where I would never overstep my boundaries to, tell Edmy I said that purple deck is not a problem.
Yeah, that purple deck is going to go fine.
Yeah.
It's going to make it an interesting house.
That's right.
Oh, boy. No, so why am I just drawing a blank? Jeez.
Where's the train, but nobody's home?
Nope. I'm having like a weird blank right now.
That's funny.
Actually, interesting question that I'm reading with this. What do you think, in your opinion, makes our approach different?
We care. I think there's a dime a dozen realtors, a dime a dozen loan officers that are in it for the paycheck or in it for the next deal, where you and I tell people when I pre-approve them, take your time. Don't buy a house just to buy a house. And I tell people all the time, that stairway that you're staring at, you don't like right now, I guarantee in 2 years, you're going to hate it. I'll get used. I'll learn to love it. No, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. You're going to call me in 2 years. I want to refinance or sell or buy. Call Edmy. Let's get the team rolling again. I'm not here just to do a deal. I'm not here to do a transaction. I'm here to help people buy their first house or their second house or their second house or their kid's house or whatever they're looking to do.
Yeah.
But I take it personal. I take it very, very personal. I take it very serious. And that's why on a Tuesday or Tuesday at 7:00 or a Saturday at 1:00 or on a Sunday at 9:30 when I'm supposed to be at church and you call, I answer. Same thing with you. Because we take it personally and we care. I mean, I care. I care tremendously.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think beyond the care, there's also the education piece that we add to it. Because we work a lot with first-time home buyers.
Yes.
And a big piece is addressing the myth and so-and-so told me.
Oh my goodness. So-and-so told me who bought 20 years ago when the market was stop talking to me, please.
Yeah, because the market and the process, I mean, well, the buying A to B, yeah, you're signing docs.
It's great you bring it up there great put up there because sometimes I naively think people know more than they know, like a doctor or a lawyer or some who does well professional. Like, they must know. I was closing house last week actually, and the buyer texted me, goes, "Hey, this bank would give me X amount of rate." I'm like, man, that's a lot, not a lot better, but a little bit better than what I could offer. I'm like, man, let me look into it. And in their fine print, they said, "Oh, your bank costs are X amount of dollars," which were like 4 times my bank costs. I'm like, dude, all they're doing is increasing their bank costs to cover
how much you're
to cover the rate. But me being experienced and know what to look for and also articulate and educate the other person, like, hey, look at this. I'm not just making it up. Let's compare apples to apples. And he's like,
yes.
Oh, it made sense. He's like, all right, cool, let's close, no problem. And he wasn't looking to, he was just asking. He's like, okay, why is this? I'm like, here's why. But that person decided to work with me because he knew at the end of the day, if that deal was so much better, I'm like, dude, let's put this on pause. This is the deal for you. And I've done that. I said, listen, there's some, credit unions or some small banks that offer some great programs. And sometimes buyers will just do it. That is a great program. If you can qualify for it and it works, absolutely go with that program. I wish you all the best. If any questions come up, if something looks fishy, please call me. But that's the program for you. I'm not, and that's what goes why I care so much. I'm not like, let's pretend you didn't see that. Like, let's pretend like you didn't see that. That doesn't look here, but I'm the opposite. I'm like, that is what you should be doing right now.
Exactly.
But the key is you have to have somebody like myself or like yourself who's going to tell you the truth, because there are a lot of great programs, down payment assistance, seller credits, it looks great on paper, but
when you're really looking at the numbers,
right?
Oftentimes, I mean, I'll take the example of a client we had working together. They were looking at a down payment assistance program.
Yeah.
They didn't really need it, but they qualified for it.
I remember that, yeah.
And then basically, when we looked at the numbers, they actually would have saved upfront and in the back end of the loan by not going through that program.
Right, because
they could easily afford it.
Right, because two things, people are like, I'm going to get, making numbers up, $15,000 down payment. That's great. But are their interest rate go up? A lot of these programs, you have to pay extra monthly on the side, $200. So when you start doing the math, it's, great, you got $15,000, but for the next, you're going to pay extra $400 and you do the math across, it doesn't help you. You're really kind of like, so. I mean,
I think it's like you said earlier, understanding the breakdown. Understanding every steps of it, every, the nooks and crannies.
Yep.
Making sure that you know what line A is, line B is, how it affects the different aspect of. I think most people shop the monthly payment, aside from the house, the monthly payment. So understanding how those lines affect the monthly payment.
Well, I think that's great you bring up, because a lot of people compare this to buying cars, right? And you shouldn't buy a car off the monthly payment, which is, please, listen, for the love of all of this, everything, do not buy a car off monthly payment. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Because if you do, don't do it. Okay? Just don't. But come back to here is they buy the car off monthly. You buy a car. You shouldn't buy a car on monthly payment. But in the mortgage world, the monthly payment is important.
Yes,
right? Because that's a big chunk of your income going towards one thing. So it's kind of like educating people, like, all right, do it here, but don't do it here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Hey, interesting.
Don't buy a car off monthly payment. Jeez.
If you remember anything from this episode, is don't buy a car off.
When the car salesman is how much can you afford a month, you say stop talking to me. Okay, okay, that's what you do.
So, looking at the future, like another great question that I'm reading here is, what do you see is missing in the industry? When you're looking at the future, yeah, I know I'm putting you on the spot.
You know what? I'll take it back. It's actually it's funny. This tough market is ironing that out. It's taking out bad loan officers, bad realtors, and they're leaving the business. So I think it's actually that's one positive thing that's happening in this market, because that bad loan officer or that bad realtor or that bad attorney can't hack it in this business because nobody wants to work with them. So I think a positive thing coming out is those people are leaving the market, and maybe I'm naive, seeing that good people are still staying in the market, right? Because you do business with people you like, you respect,
yeah,
right? You know, for example, is I could sell and list my house with anybody, right? I know dozen realtors, but I chose you, right? Why? Because I know you're gonna keep it real with me, right?
Yeah.
When I say, hey, does that pink thing look like? You'll be like, you're an idiot. Take that down, please. Nobody says that because it's me, but what are you doing? You know.
You have some interesting ideas sometimes.
Yeah. Let's see this.
I mean, like you said, I think there was not enough transparency in the process. I mean, we talk about education, but not selling, but working with a client to guide them and get them to understand. So a lot of times there was that missing piece of full transparency and what was happening during the process, or whether or not, I mean, you're not.
Well, I think that goes back to the bad loan officer, bad realtor. If they're not telling you something, they're trying to hide something, and by the time you sign it down the line, it's too late. Or by the time you're at a closing table, it's probably too late.
Because by the time once you sign, it's done.
Yeah, you can't go call the seller and go, hey, did you know there's a hole in the wall? Why did your realtor not catch that?
But not just that. It's like, hey, I didn't know getting that, $5,000 meant that I was gonna pay an extra $20 a month.
Yeah.
There's no 90-day after, hey, within that 90-day, just bring it back. We'll change it.
Yeah, I don't just
once you sign, it's done.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that I'm seeing, and I would love to see more in the future, is that transparency throughout the process.
If you're a good person, you should be transparent. If you're looking to hide something, what are we doing? What are you doing? All right.
Yeah. So no, it's cool to see this unfold, like the changes and how things are going to continue being done in the future. And of course, I know you make fun of me a lot because I love AI.
You love AI.
But it's something that I want to see how that gets integrated more into our industry.
It's great, but I'm afraid of the personal aspect is leaving not just this industry, the people in general. I'm afraid that AI is but at the same time, you read somebody who sends you AI text message or AI whatever, you're like, dude, I know you didn't write that, you idiot. Man, you didn't write that. That word got way too many syllables for that to be you. Get away from me. Listen,
I think if it's used as a tool,
there's no way it can be used as a tool.
Well, it can.
People use everything. Come on. No way.
No, I think as a tool, it works. Or it helps. It helps. It makes certain things move along faster. Or
right. Where's the line? That's the scary part, right?
I think it's up to us to determine where the line is.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But hey, thank you again for tuning with us. Thanks again. Remember, follow us on Instagram, Twitter.
Twitter?
No, I'm not called Twitter anymore. Oh yeah. Well, hey, Instagram, YouTube. It's gonna be on Spotify as well. So it's pretty cool. All